Florida prosecutors have now made it official. The death penalty is being considered for the suspects linked to rapper Foolio's murder. And judging by how things are unfolding in court, it's clear the defendants know they're in serious trouble.
No, they got so much evidence against them. Like, when you go through it, you can pretty much just, all right, pick a prison. Where do y'all want to go?
As a result, the suspects seem to be coming to grips with their reality. Some have even begun to show signs of remorse during court proceedings. There's a lot happening with this case right now, so let's dive into the details. Foolio's killer's facing death sentence. The Florida summer heat had barely faded on the night of June 23, 2024, when the sound of gunshots shattered the calm outside a Holiday Inn near the University of South Florida. What started as a birthday celebration spiraled into chaos. Charles Jones, better known to fans as Foolio, had just turned 26. The Jacksonville rapper, notorious for his raw lyrics and deep roots in street life, should have been celebrating another milestone. Instead, he became the target of a deadly, calculated ambush. Foolio was gunned down in a shooting that also left 3 others injured. And from the very start, police knew this wasn't random. This was an execution, the kind that comes from long-standing street warfare. Foolio was affiliated with the 6 Block Gang, a known rival to 2 of Jacksonville's most violent crews, ATK and 1200. While his music gave him a platform to rise above the conflict, on that June night in Tampa, the streets caught up with him. Within weeks, law enforcement had zeroed in on 5 suspects. Tampa PD, backed by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, moved fast. By the end of July, 3 people were in custody: 18-year-old Sean Gathright, 21-year-old Isaiah Chance, and 21-year-old Alicia Andrews. A 4th suspect, 30-year-old Rashad Murphy, was taken into custody after a tense SWAT standoff in Jacksonville. The final suspect, Davian Murphy, evaded arrest for months and wasn't captured until January 2025, ending a 6-month manhunt. Each was charged with premeditated first-degree murder, and prosecutors added conspiracy to commit murder to emphasize how thoroughly Foolio had been tracked and targeted. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment killing, it was a well-planned operation. By October 2024, the case took a darker turn. The state announced it would pursue the death penalty against Gathright, Chance, and Rashad Murphy. These weren't minor participants. They were identified as the shooters, caught on surveillance video unloading dozens of rounds into the car where Foolio sat, unaware and unprotected. The footage was chilling. 3 masked men, armed with rifles and a handgun, executing a hit with military-like precision. At a press conference, State Attorney Susan Lopez was blunt. "If you help orchestrate a murder, you're as guilty as the one who pulls the trigger, and we intend to prove that in court." Public reaction was intense. Across Reddit and other forums, fans dissected every angle. One commenter said, "They drove hours like it was some spy mission, or trackers positioning shell catchers. That wasn't no random drill." Another added, "This was a public assassination. They have to make an example." The prosecutor's message was clear. Gang violence will be met with the harshest punishment available. While 3 suspects stare down the death penalty, one stands apart: Alicia Andrews. Authorities describe her as the lookout. She wasn't listed in the death penalty notice, but investigators believe she tracked Foolio's movements that night and fed real-time updates to the shooters. The case took an unexpected twist when, during her July 2024 arrest, it was revealed that Andrews was pregnant. Her attorney pushed for a fast trial in January 2025, but just a week before proceedings began, he withdrew from the case. Rumors swirled about a breakdown in trust. Whatever the truth, the move delayed her trial indefinitely. As of April 2025, she's still awaiting a new court date. Her future uncertain, separated from her co-defendants, but still facing serious conspiracy charges. Then there's Rashad Murphy, perhaps the most unpredictable figure in the case. A known member of the 1200 gang, Rashad stunned the courtroom in January 2025 when he fired his legal team and announced he'd represent himself in court, despite facing the death penalty. It's a nearly unheard-of move in a capital case. Prosecutors have compiled damning evidence against him, including cell phone pings, surveillance footage, and license plate scans. Choosing to go it alone has added even more tension to an already high-stakes trial. Originally slated for September 2024, his court dates were delayed due to custody transfers between Duval and Hillsborough counties. Now, with a trial set for April 2026, Murphy is betting everything on his ability to defend himself against experienced prosecutors. The final suspect, 27-year-old Davian Murphy, Rashad's cousin, managed to stay on the run for 6 months before being arrested in January 2025 at an apartment complex in Jacksonville. His arrest brought a dramatic end to the manhunt. In court, prosecutors quickly painted him as just as involved, just as lethal. A Jacksonville judge denied him bond, citing his risk to the community. Davian waived his first appearance and awaited a detention hearing, but soon after, troubling reports emerged that he'd assaulted a corrections officer while in custody. Details remain sealed, but the alleged incident could have serious implications for his upcoming trial, which, as of April 2025, still has no set date. Each defendant brings a different angle to this tragic story, but all roads lead back to the same devastating night when Julio Foolio was gunned down in what police believe was one of Jacksonville's most brazen gang-related killings in recent memory. The brazen murder of Julio Foolio didn't lose his life by chance. His murder on June 23, 2024, marked the brutal climax of a long brewing street war, a deadly chess match between rival gangs in Jacksonville. This wasn't some spontaneous act of violence. It was a premeditated hit, cold, calculated, and captured in haunting detail through surveillance footage, intercepted messages, and a trail of digital breadcrumbs left by those determined to take him out. It was supposed to be his 26th birthday, a night for celebration, maybe a few Instagram posts and moments with friends. Instead, it became his final chapter.
Got me drinking, cuz. I don't even drink, cuz.
Instead of a night of celebration, Foolio's birthday turned into a setup. The parking lot of a Tampa Holiday Inn became the final battleground in a feud that had been boiling for years, and on that night, it finally exploded into bloodshed. Foolio wasn't new to conflict. His name sparked reactions both in the streets of Jacksonville and across social media. He was known for dissing fallen rivals in his music, calling out names and dropping locations with no hesitation. It was part of the drill scene he thrived in, bold, unfiltered, and dangerous. But that same boldness came with a cost, and ultimately, it cost him his life. He rolled into Tampa on June 21st, ready to celebrate big for his 26th. He hit up strip clubs, lounges, and hotel rooms, documenting the entire weekend for his followers. His Instagram stories showed every stop, every move. What he didn't realize was that someone else was watching just as closely. Not fans, but enemies.
Pool party start the day at 5, 6 o'clock. If you already got the address, pull up, man. We got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock. DM me for the address or DM Foolio booking ESPN. I'm gonna put it right here.
Two scouts were already on his trail. Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews, both 21, both connected to Jacksonville's notorious ATK crew, weren't just watching from a distance. According to the indictment, they were actively tracking Foolio's every move, relaying updates in real time to Rashad Murphy of the 1200 gang and his younger crew members, Sean and Davian. Surveillance footage from the night of June 22nd shows Andrews and Chance staking out Teaser's Gentlemen's Club, one of Foolio's birthday stops. They didn't go inside. They posted up outside watching like hawks. Andrews allegedly served as the lookout, sending updates through encrypted apps while Chance coordinated intel directly with the shooters. Meanwhile, Rashad Murphy, Gathright, and Davian Murphy weren't out partying. They were preparing. Authorities say they loaded up with weapons, a 9mm handgun and 2 rifles with extended magazines. This wasn't for show. They were coming to kill. License plate records showed a silver Toyota Camry, registered to Rashad Murphy, making the trip from Jacksonville to Tampa that night. Inside Murphy, Gathright, and Davian. They reportedly met up at a safe house in Tampa's Sulphur Springs neighborhood where the final plan was locked in. Later, shell casings recovered at the crime scene would match a shooting linked to the 1200 gang, a signal that this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment act. It was revenge, orchestrated down to the minute. By the early hours of June 23rd, Foolio was still out celebrating. He and his crew hit Exo Lounge, and as always, he kept his followers updated on Instagram. But while his fans double-tapped, Andrews and Chance kept following, quietly watching from nearby. Around 3 a.m., Foolio and his crew were kicked out of the club, reportedly for getting too rowdy, and they moved to a Holiday Inn near the University of South Florida. That decision sealed his fate. At 3:45 a.m., Andrews allegedly sent Foolio's exact location to Rashad Murphy. Cell tower records later confirmed that Chance was also in the vicinity, maintaining visual contact. With Foolio's position locked in, the hit team made their move. At 4:37 a.m., the silver Camry pulled into the Holiday Inn parking lot. A second vehicle, a black sedan, followed close behind. Foolio was sitting in the passenger seat of a Dodge Durango, along with his cousin and 2 friends. None of them saw it coming. From both vehicles, Gathright, Rashad, and Davian Murphy emerged, masks on, weapons drawn. They opened fire from multiple angles, more than 40 rounds unleashed in less than 20 seconds. Bullets ripped through the Durango. Foolio was hit repeatedly, in the head, chest, and torso. He died instantly. His birthday celebration became the scene of his execution. The others in the car were wounded but survived. One later described it to police as a war zone. Shattered glass, punctured tires, chaos. The shooters didn't wait wait around. They split up and fled in both vehicles. Traffic cameras caught Rashad Murphy's Camry speeding down the I-275, while the black sedan knight carrying Gathright and Davian bolted down the IS-4. Meanwhile, Andrews and Chance powered down their phones, vanishing separately. Another calculated effort to erase their digital footprints. Police arrived within minutes after panicked 911 calls from hotel guests. The scene was carnage. Shell casings everywhere, bullet-ridden vehicles, and Foolio's lifeless body slumped in the front seat. He was declared dead at 4:45 a.m. Just hours before, he had been celebrating life. Now, he was another casualty in a war that had raged for years. When the indictments dropped, they laid out the story in detail. Each suspect played a role. Each move was choreographed. Gathright, just 18, was seen in surveillance footage firing one of the rifles. Chance wasn't a trigger man, but he was the team's eyes and ears. Andrews acted as the lookout. Her encrypted messages to Rashad Murphy were later recovered by investigators. Rashad, the eldest and alleged leader, drove the Camry and fired a second rifle. Davian Murphy, his cousin, is accused of unloading the 9mm at close range, directly into Foolio's window. Together, they moved like a strike unit, fast, silent, deadly. So, why Foolio? The answer lies in his lyrics, his lifestyle, and the long-running war between his gang, KTA, and rivals ATK and 1200. To understand what happened in that hotel parking lot, you have to go back, over a decade, to the streets of Jacksonville, where blood, pride, and retaliation built the foundation for a war that would shape a generation of violence. Foolio grew up in Jacksonville's turbulent north side. Long before he rapped, the streets were already molding him. In 2017, his cousin Zion Brown was shot and killed, a loss that hit hard and pushed Charles Jones toward music. That grief became fuel. His pain turned into bars, his pain into a brand. But in Jacksonville's drill scene, music wasn't just expression, it was a weapon. And success painted a target on your back. Foolio proudly repped KTA, Kill Them All, a crew deeply rooted in the 6-block neighborhood. These weren't just rap cliques, these were street factions with real beef, real bloodshed. On the other side stood ATK, Ace's Top Killers, a rival gang aligned with rapper Youngeen Ace and the 1200 set. Their songs weren't just music, they were warnings, threats, and battle cries. The feud exploded in the late 2000s and 10s. Foolio's breakout track Dead Ops wasn't just a hit, it was a provocation. Then came When I See You, a chilling remix that taunted the death of ATK affiliate Adrian Bibby Gaynor, complete with mocking lyrics and funeral references. It didn't just cross a line, and it erased it. ATK fired back. Youngeen Ace's Who I Smoke flipped a cheerful pop sample into a brutal taunt, name-dropping Foolio's fallen allies, turning their deaths into viral punchlines. Millions watched. The streams went up, so did the body count. Jacksonville turned into a war zone disguised as a city. Between 2017 and 2024, authorities tied the KTA-ATK conflict to more than 30 homicides. Young men, some rappers, others just caught up, were killed in ambushes, drive-bys, and retaliation hits. Foolio wasn't just a name in the mix, he was a prime target. But if he feared death, he never showed it. In 2018, he was shot while driving through Moncrief. A bullet tore through his leg. Hours later, he posted a photo of his bandaged leg with the caption, "All this money on my head, I'm supposed to be dead." Instead of backing down, he went harder. He turned every near-death moment into another verse.
I walked through the cut, and I'll say probably like 5-10 minutes later, somebody pop out the cut, go to shoot, and boom, boom, boom. I got hit on my hip, and my hip popped out of place, and I was just crawling, looking back, looking at him still shooting. You know what I'm saying?
2 years later, the bullets flew again. This time, it was 2020. Foolio's car was riddled with gunfire, a clear attempt on his life. But once again, he walked away. Not only did he survive, but days later, he doubled down in a track titled List of Dead Ops, practically daring his enemies to take another shot. The cycle was relentless. Shootings, disses, retaliation, rinse and repeat. Friends and family pleaded with him to fall back, to leave Jacksonville, to stop fueling the fire. But Foolio lived by a code, one built on pain, loyalty, and street pride. In his eyes, his enemies had taken too much from him. Speaking up, even if it meant dying for it, was the only way to honor the ones he lost. Behind the scenes, things were only getting more volatile. In 2021, Foolio's close friend and KTA ally, Kenneth Kasu McKinnon, was arrested and later convicted for the murder of ATK affiliate Adrian Bibby Gaynor. Kasu's downfall rocked KTA. It left a vacuum in the group's leadership, and it left Foolio as one of the last real voices of 6 Block still standing in the music scene. As Foolio's Foolio's profile grew, so did the target on his back. Meanwhile, ATK was taking losses of their own. In 2020, Charles Lil Buck McCormick, a young ATK enforcer, was shot and killed, reportedly by KTA shooters. It was another chapter in the ongoing war, and in Jacksonville, every death demanded a response. Nothing was ever forgotten. Every shooting led to a diss track. Every diss track led to another body. On social media, the war played out in real time. Taunts, threats, memorial posts, and disrespectful lyrics feeding an endless cycle of bloodshed. By 2023, Foolio's luck was wearing thin. That October, he had his closest call yet. While driving through Jacksonville's Riverside neighborhood, unknown gunmen unloaded more than 100 rounds at his car. One bullet grazed his skull. It was nothing short of a miracle that he survived.
Bitch shot me, but they didn't kill me. On Kendrick. Just stupid.
But something had shifted. His music grew darker. Tracks like Voodoo revealed a man haunted, laced with paranoia, betrayal, and sleepless nights. His circle got smaller. He moved more cautiously, spoke less, and trusted even fewer. The same social media that once built his buzz now felt like a loaded weapon, and he was always in the crosshairs. Still, Foolio couldn't stay quiet. By early 2024, he was back online, taunting his enemies, flashing cash, dropping his location from clubs like he had nothing to lose. Some saw it as fearless, others called it reckless, but above all, it was real. Foolio had always said he was a product of war, and he lived every day like it. In the end, he died like it too.
Whole clip on my dad, stop playing with me. And I didn't get hit, I got grazed in the leg, stop playing.
In the days following Fio's death, street chatter and online speculation quickly pointed fingers at ATK's involvement. Social media posts from fans linked the murder to young Ace, with one user writing, "Ace got his lick back," a direct nod to Ace's own shooting back in 2018. Though no concrete evidence ties young Ace directly to the crime, and he's not named in the indictment, the rumor mill highlights just how public and personal this feud has become. Many believe young Ace may have been the mastermind behind the hit, orchestrating the attack from behind the scenes. Nearly a year after Julio Foolio's murder, suspicion still hangs heavily over the Jacksonville rapper whose real name is Quito Bullard. The ambush in the Tampa parking lot that ended Foolio's life at just 26 was a brutal culmination of a years-long war between rival crews. Foolio's KTA, Kill Them All, tied to 6 Block, and ATK, Ace's top killers, linked to the 1200 gang. As of April 6, 2025, young Ace's involvement remains an open question. Fueled by a mix of cryptic social media posts, taunts from both sides, and ongoing police investigations, the controversy rages on. Despite multiple arrests, the presence of mysterious claimants and relentless accusations from Foolio's fans keep the feud alive, a conflict that may very well outlast the lives of those involved. The saga took an unexpected turn in July 2024, when a masked figure appeared in a video that quickly circulated online, claiming responsibility for Foolio's death. Wearing a ski mask and an orange beanie, the individual boldly asserted,
Hey, on everything I love, bro. On the dead homies, bro. I put it on everything on my soul, on my kids. I'm the one that smacked Julio Foolio that night when he got dropped at his birthday celebration, bro.
More explosively, the masked man alleged that young Gene Ace had placed a $10,000 bounty on Fio's head, saying, "Ace had that money on his head. I rock with Ace and them boys, ATK. Ace had done put that 10K up, told me to slide." The identity of this speaker remains unverified, but the confession, cold and without remorse, framed the killing as a transaction rather than a purely gang-driven vendetta. Ace put that bread up, and whoever wanted to take it took it, so I took that. Though unconfirmed by law enforcement, this alleged confession sparked widespread speculation and became a tantalizing yet inconclusive piece of the puzzle. Young Ace's actions following Foolio's death only added fuel to the fire. Mere hours after the shooting, Ace dropped a music video for his track DOD Do It, featuring lyrics like, "They called my phone, said they got the low. I told them do it," alongside visuals chillingly reminiscent of the Tampa shooting, a mass crew firing on a car in a parking lot. Days later, on June 28, 2024, he released Game Over, another apparent diss track with lines such as, "5 in the morning I got a call, dead on arrival. Mr. 6, eerily mirroring the timing and circumstances of Foolio's death. Then, in a July Instagram Live, Ace laughed while addressing Foolio's demise, mocking his rival with a casual, "That nine sad twin," before claiming they had been cool and that he'd urged Foolio to stay out of trouble. The dissonance between his public words and the aggressive tone of his music.
That's sad. Twin, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all boys in the street, y'all didn't leave the streets alone, twin. All condone and like that.
So Young and Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them.